finally flying to space to distract from your earthly flaws. News! Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos just flew into space, or at least the edge of space, because he's a coward. All they are aiming for, in the end, is suborbital flights. And if you're lower than the space station, you aren't in space. I don't care about your 100 kilometers is technically the edge of space common line bullshit. That's like saying, if I'm in a US embassy, I've visited the US. Yeah, sure, I'm on US soil, but only technically, and not in a way that would impress anyone. But Amazon's giant attempt to get people to look at space so they don't focus on what's happening on Earth, like jangling a giant set of keys above our heads saying, look at us, look at us, look over here, look over here, there's a giant penis in the sky, to hope that we won't notice that Amazon will have to pay $62 million in tips that the US Federal Trade Commission says it shorted flex drivers for 2.5 years. Given how relentlessly they drive their workers, it's actually pretty impressive that it wasn't more. I mean, Woolworths did a bigger trade in wage theft. Oh, sorry. Underpayments with its $390 million and then $110 million in interest. You gonna let Woolworths beat you, Amazon? Huh? Is that the kind of person that you are? Regulators argued in a complaint announced in February that the company had failed to honour promises it had made in advertisements and other documents. At issue were statements that drivers in its Flex program would earn $18 to $25 per hour, as well as 100% of the tips you earn while delivering with Amazon Flex. Now, over a 2.5 year period, the company failed to pay the full amount of tips they received from customers, who were also told that delivery drivers would receive all the tips paid. So what did they do with all that extra money, I hear you ask? Let's have a look, shall we?
I want to thank every Amazon employee and every Amazon customer, because you guys paid for all this.
Whoa! He said it! He said the thing! He said the thing! Guys, he said the thing! Jeff, I know that you've become all rich and isolated, living a life of luxury on your yacht. But generally, people don't like it when you steal from them, then send them a nice thank you note with the stationery set you bought with their stolen money. Doesn't matter how nice the calligraphy is. But hey, don't do that. Don't focus on that. Focus on this. Focus on this old lady who also went to space. This is Wally Funk. No jokes, that is genuinely her name. We're giving her her dues. So in 1961, Wally was one of 12 women who went through testing as part of the Women in Space program. The tests had been designed by Dr. Lovelace for the Mercury astronauts, who wanted to put women through the same tests to see if they would be good candidates for space. Now, they weren't taking women under 24, but they took Miss Funk. And across the board, the women who passed that initial round of testing did as well or better than their male counterparts. And of that group, all of these women were pilots who had logged hundreds or thousands of flight hours, in some cases more than the men who were selected for the astronaut program. After all, the testing was done and the male astronauts were chosen to go to space. The only question that remained was... Where's Wally? No, really. Where's Wally? Where did she go? Where did you put Wally? Until this flight, none of these women had gone into space. Until Bezos needed a big enough distraction from the fact that when Jeff Bezos was worth $18 billion, he reportedly claimed a $4,000 tax credit intended for families earning less than $100,000. And not just once, twice! Oh! Once in 2007 and then again in 2011. He reportedly paid nothing in federal income taxes because he lost more money investing than he earned from other income, at least according to this report. Apparently, known trillionaire Jeff Bezos made so little in 2011, according to the US government tax code, that he was able to file for and receive a $1,000 per child tax credit which households with over $100,000 in joint income weren't eligible to receive. But don't worry about that. Looky over here, looky over here, look. Jeff Bezos took Amelia Earhart's original goggles into space, which should sufficiently stop people from paying attention to the fact that an Amazon wellness guide tells workers to buy shoes at the end of their shift so that they better fit their swollen feet. Now, this is according to Vice. Amazon distributed a health and wellness guide to workers at a warehouse in Tulsa, Oklahoma, instructing them to train like industrial athletes in order to improve their performance on the job, failing to realize that Olympians are an unintentionally terrible yet appropriately perfect comparison, as they don't get paid properly, dedicate large portions of their life to a path with no guarantees for success or money, often have to cover their own expenses, and the majority of them actually live close to the poverty line. But hey, they're fit! Aren't they fit? The guides tell workers to prepare their bodies for walking up to 13 miles a day and lifting a total of 20,000 pounds during a single shift, which is more than 14 kilos every minute for a 10-hour shift. Discusses topics including nutrition, hydration, sleep, footwear, ergonomics, and injury prevention, with suggestions such as eat 5 to 9 servings of veggies per day. I mean, I'm not sure when they are eating them, as they're almost never getting any breaks. But sure, 5 to 9 serves of veggies a day. Monitor your urine color, which actually shouldn't be that much of a problem because, as we all know, it'll be in a few bottles around the workplace, all around you, just down there everywhere. Now, Amazon told Business Insider that the guide was created in error and that it has removed the guide. Apparently, it was only supposed to be circulated among managers and above, so they could laugh and laugh as they looked down upon their factory of athletes. They even get their own complimentary hat and coach whistles. Clear eyes, full urine bottles, can't lose! But wait right there, space cowboy. Seems the Federal Aviation Administration doesn't want you in their secret club. Controversy. Well, what possible reason could they have for not including you? Let's see. To qualify as commercial astronauts, spacegoers must travel 50 miles or 80 k's above the Earth's surface. Okay, alright. Although this is only true in America, as NASA says it is 50 miles above the Earth. Basically all the rest of the Earth acknowledges the Kármán line, a line 62 miles above the Earth, which is considered the edge of space. Typical really of America to use their own system while the rest of the world has agreed on something else, but hey, altitude aside, the agency says astronauts must also have demonstrated activities during flight that were essential to public safety or contributed to human space flight safety. In a statement, the FAA said that these changes brought the wing scheme more in line with its role to protect public safety during commercial space flights. And if we know one thing about Jeff Bezos, he is not committed to the safety of others. So they were right to re-examine the title, to change the requirements. But they may as well have just written FAA redefines astronaut as having flown out further than you can stack your money. That would definitely keep him in alignment, given that the Kármán line is 62 miles above the Earth, or 100 kilometers, 54 nautical miles, and 330,000 feet for you feet enthusiasts. And $1 billion, when stacked in dollar bills, is 67.9 miles high. So actually, no billionaire could ever claim to be an astronaut. I think we'd all be happy with this arrangement. But, you know, we could go in further. If you need to fly further than the amount you have in money, well, the richer you are, the further you'd have to go to actually be considered an astronaut. And ideally, the less likely you would be to come back. So Bezos, at 209 billion, he'd have to fly 14,204.68 miles into space. But also, just for safekeeping, FAA should probably make the definition of astronaut no Jeffs, no Richards, no Elon's club. I can get behind that.